that says a lot about not only character, but about work ethic, because as it stands right now, the money's not in it, right? It just takes time to get where you want to go. And I think that just being able to be here and put something together, it has to be a long-term hold. You can't just go buy a PFP and expect it to double or triple in value within a couple days. And if it does, that's awesome. But there's still projects out there, especially with us, that we want to do this for a long time, and we want to make sure that we're able to put this on a mainstream level, and that's going to be a while before we get there. And it just takes hard work and dedication.
This week episode is brought to you by none of Secret Supply of Sauce, the best sauce known to mankind and available on shelf anywhere. Even when the freezer is full of sauce, there is still no sauce for you. You want some of Nona sauce? Too bad. Only Nona decides who gets the sauce.
Hey, everyone. Oh my goodness, it happened.
You did it again.
That's so crazy. It's like my mouth gets dry. That's so weird. Hold on, let me get a sip of water.
Take two.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Papa Mag's Pinecast. Shoot. Hey everyone, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 15 of the Poppin' Mags Pinecast. Mags, what is going on?
Dude, what the fuck? You can't get any of this shit right. But I'm just laughing at you right now.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, hey. How you doing?
Let's roll, man. Let's roll. We got some count ups to do here. We got K Fuel now coming in at 229 days since we were promised. We got our play staking index at 248 days. We got the airdrop at 331 days. And you came off the count up last week, but I actually had someone phone in and ask for you to be on the count up this coming week. Yes.
Well, what happened?
Apparently, they were waiting for you for 19 days to get a description for your custom Zilla.
Fuck. I believe that's been quashed. As the
you are correct. I am very disappointed that between the time of the phone in and and this recording that it has been taken care of. But,
thank God.
Little Humble made his way onto the blockchain, right?
Right. Oh my God. How cool is Little Humble?
He is pretty cool, for sure. I love the mouth animation.
Well, the mouth animation is in touch with the, so humble animation for the hands. And It says that's from both of us. That's what if you watch the animation for Little Humble, his mouth, he says that's from both of us.
That's
you can make it out. Yeah. So it was an arduous journey, but it came out. It's funny. We were just talking a little bit before we came on when you weren't screwing every word up out of your mouth.
Yeah. That's most of the time. So.
And he, Theta Zilla Club, other than Little Humble, which was made, it wasn't minted, but it was made before Sushi's and the Mechazilla.
Right. Yeah. 3 recent additions.
And those are both. Those are the sushi one's so sushi. It's so funny.
Yeah, you got the conveyor belt of sushi, right?
Right.
Pretty crazy.
Right. And that Mechazilla one.
Yeah, that's beauty.
That background. I mean, Sushi's is fantastic. I love it. But that city background is just insane on the Mechazilla.
Yeah, 100%. I was telling you, it reminded me of the background of one of the WWZ realms. Similar.
I was telling Theta Zilla that it reminded me of the commercial. He didn't know the commercial. He's a little bit younger than us. But he remembers the game. It was a Milton Bradley game, not a proud sponsor. Crossfire. Do you remember that commercial? Crossfire. Sure. You get caught up in the crossfire. Crossfire.
Yes.
It was like a post-apocalyptic world where kids were trying to kill other kids in a pit of fire, essentially. So it gave me those kind of vibes. And then Zilla remembered he actually played the game, so it was went all the way around.
Yeah, no, that was a very cool Mechazilla. I love the fire out of the feet, and he also had laser eyes and atomic breath. Is that correct?
Oh,
I
did he?
believe so. I believe he did. Yeah.
Sounds like he did.
Yes. Don't look it up on me, but I'm pretty sure that's the case.
So the delay for getting him done, where I was working on, he's like, "Hey, I need some, like, what should we write about him, in the, the metadata, right? That shows up." And I was like, "Oh, let me
Yeah.
think about it. I'll get back to you." And then like life happened, right? And then I was like, "Oh man, I'm sorry I didn't get it." And he goes, "No worries." So this was like almost a week later. He goes, "No worries, man. If you don't want it, I'll just delete it." And I was like, "No." I was like, "No." I was like, "Oh my god." I messaged Sushi Cat and I was like, "Hey, I love yours." She goes, "Oh, that's great." She goes, "It was so cool." I go, "Yeah." I go, "He's threatening." I go, "Theta Zilla's threatening to destroy mine." She goes, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah." So we were talking with Swampy on I forget what it was. I think it was on the Tygon's first WWZ thing match, I believe.
The Tuffle.
The Tuffle, as it were. And he said he was just joking with me. But you know how I take everything seriously. So I was like on pins and needles with him. I'm like, "I know I was going to get back to you." And he's like, whenever you get to it. So, but it was nice to know he was going to add me to the list. So,
Yeah, he's been pretty ornery lately. So. So I wouldn't have been surprised if he was just like, "Nah, see ya."
I don't know about
That's
that.
funny. No, I'm kidding.
He put a ton of work into that.
Yeah. So we had some peeling going on since our last conversation.
Yes. So it's Sunday night, our usual lately, and for recording. And our last episode that went out, we did all our recording with the guest and our pre-interview Friday. It was all done last Friday.
Correct.
Right. So Magnum got peeled on Saturday, the day after. So that wasn't covered.
And what's your thoughts on peeled Magnum?
Woo! He's a saucy little number. You know what I mean? Not gonna lie.
A spicy meatball.
Ugh. I had the original Magnum as my PFP for a while, and then I brought the brick wall back on my pineapple Magnum.
Yeah.
But then I was like, I got this thing. I was like, I think I'm gonna be having banana Magnum on for a while. I think.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, like peeled Magnum is fire, no doubt about it. Now that we've got through there, I saw
Skeletor
peeled. Sick.
Woo.
Yeah, that one's nice.
That was very.
I mean, honestly, like, which one do you prefer?
The original, but
yeah,
that is like really cool looking. I'm actually looking at it right now. Definitely original, but that is like really
that one's
cool
amazing both ways for sure.
Yeah. The Skeletor might be. Oh man, that might be of what I've seen for the customs that have been minted and not minted, not that have been made for people. That's I think that was the one top of my list, and I was like one off of it. So
oof.
Yeah.
I saw a big time pine sale recently as well. We had a cram pine.
Oh, cram pine.
Getting passed around like one of those Christmas presents at the office holiday party.
I mean, someone was looking. So this actually, let me tell the story. It's a little funnier because somebody posted in Trader's Bay, and Disturbance sends me a message, and he DMs me. He's like, "Hey Magnum, somebody's looking for you in Trader's Bay," and I was like, "Oh, what the hell is this about?" And I go in there, and it says, this guy goes, "Hey, who's T-Fizzle?" So, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm T-Fizzle." So yeah, he was interested in Crampine, and I wasn't actually looking to sell him. I got him at a bargain bin, right?
Yeah.
And he really wanted him. He liked him. Everything's tough, and I probably could use a a few schleckels myself, So,
I mean, what's not to like about him, though, right?
no, I like him. I think he's hysterical. But so I was like, someone reached out to me. He wanted him. He basically paid me kind of close to what the market price is. So that's not terrible.
Nice.
So, but he wanted him. He liked him. So he wasn't like totally set on my 120-man roster. So yeah, I shipped him. He changed his name to like Crampine, and
I'd love to see that.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, you'll love to see that.
People, there seems like there's some other people that have also been hitting up Traders Bay looking to buy customs. Like one guy was like, "Hey, I got this really nice one." He goes, "I'm only looking at customs and only at a certain price. So if you have a custom that you want to part with for about around that price that's listed in Traders Bay, then Traders Bay is where you need to go."
Yep. Not financial advice.
Not financial advice.
And I saw your boy Dole. He went out and got himself a shotgun, a lumberjack shotgun.
Mm-hmm. He did.
Good for him.
Those are two pretty rare. It's a rare torso, and
yes, it is.
And that's a rare prop. So
yes, it is.
Props to Dole.
Props to Dole. Yeah, he couldn't get the army shotgun dude from me, so he got the lumberjack.
His is probably rare.
Probably, yeah.
But it's a lumberjack.
Exactly. And I also saw this week there was a massive market movement. Dragon Prime, new one. Yeah.
Cheapo Depot.
Unbelievable. I mean,
it was already listed lower than they've gone.
Yeah.
And then they just went even lower.
Yep.
On that.
So congratulations, Havoc and Chaos. I mean, this guy, he's basically all Symbies, and he's in there heavy. So
Havoc and Chaos?
I believe that's his name. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's definitely bringing the Havoc and Chaos with what he's doing in there. Congrats to him, and welcome to the Dragon Prime land.
Yeah, it's rarefied air in there.
It is rarefied air, and we breathe it. So it's nice. So I heard you got a phone in from someone hanging in Canada.
I mean, I got a Discord message. Sure.
Okay, Discord message. Sure. So yeah, I mean, as we're recording, Camp Theta is in full swing. I imagine if it ends tomorrow, that tonight is like a culmination event right now.
I don't know who's winning. I don't know.
But we know who's losing.
Well, we know who's not doing as well as he hoped, and that would be our pal OG Swamp Ass.
Yeah.
Swampy. He says there was some kind of canoe incident. I can't wait to watch this.
I know.
It would have been amazing to see live.
For sure.
But yeah, man, I package it up and this is the content I really want to see.
Absolutely.
Who is your money on?
Well, I didn't happen to purchase any of the ones at auction, but I think you might have.
I didn't. Well,
you didn't.
No. So, friend of the Pinecast, Andrea Berry, purchased Swampy.
Even though I told her not to. Just saying.
And, hey, it's an underdog story. It's Miracle on Ice.
Listen, he's got
the only U.S. team on there in Canada's backyard. You know,
and you are so against Team USA in everything.
It's everything, yeah.
I know.
That's why this makes so much sense. Why I would love to see Swampy take it home. So yeah.
All right, man. We had the pleasure of having a couple of the guys from really our first kind of dive into ETH projects, Fame and Cuzzo from the Insiders. And it was a pleasure having them on. We thank them again for doing that. And you'll hear more from them
after these messages.
Poppin's poppin' and locking. Magnum scrutinizing. Poppin' Max Podcast.
Fame Cuzzo, how you guys doing? Pleasure to have you on.
Doing well, man. Thank you for having us. It's been a long time coming, I feel. You guys have thrown a lot of support, so it's only right we come in and say what's up, I appreciate it.
Thanks for having us, man. I couldn't wait to get here today. It's kind of late in the day, but I cleared up my schedule and said, okay, it's 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Let's just go. But yeah, thanks for having us, man. Can't wait to get this started and see what we got.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, no, we certainly appreciate you guys popping on. I think this is actually the first live ETH project that we've had on the show. We did have the Skull and Bananas, which is like the derivative of our pineapples. They're on ETH as well, but they were on the show prior to their drop. So this is the first live ETH project that we've had on our humble little Pinecast. So it's a nice branch out.
That's awesome, though. You guys have been killing it, man. I've listened to a couple of these podcasts and just the dynamic that you two have going on. It's hilarious, man. It's I love putting it on while I'm in the car and just listening, and I die laughing every single time. So I can't wait to get into it.
Well, we certainly appreciate the kind words. You know, we don't usually have kind words for each other here, as you heard.
Right.
But yeah. No, super
There's
cool.
some black sites that love our show for some reason. I don't know why.
Say that
what?
again?
What do you mean?
Black sites? Oh, that's like what they would use to torture people with,
Oh God.
CIA black sites. Is that too much?
No,
right.
You mean Black Ops or something like that? Okay.
Well, they call them black sites because they're like off the books, Ill regards.
Mags would know.
We'll bring it back in.
Yeah. All right. Hey, so I mean, if we're going to talk insiders, I think a good place to start is with the art, because to me, this is one of the most unique art NFTs that I've seen out there. Can you tell us a little bit about it? I know there was some controversy as well. If you want to speak to that, I know that something came out about that.
Yeah, man.
A while ago.
I think it's really only right to kind of play through the entire unfolding of it, right? Last year around October, we had started, actually looking to put a collection together and things like that. And I came across a freelancer and, went through and actually verified that he made the artwork and things like that. We purchased the collection from him. The FUD that you were speaking about earlier, we had during the middle of our actual launch, we're sitting there on Twitter going through responding to everybody, and there's a plugin called NFT Inspect, which is essentially shows what collection artwork is related to, so on and so forth, and it pops up it's on Solana. So immediately, we're literally in the middle of a mint, and it's just like, oh my God, how is this going on? And so I reached out directly to the artist, and I'm like, hey man, his artwork is showing up on another blockchain. This isn't us. What's going on? And he more or less just told me that when he was shopping this collection around, someone had basically picked up the Dropbox and took the artwork and launched and ran with it. And man, it was really unfortunate. It sucked, but really, it was just one of those situations where I felt like, we purchased the artwork and we were trying to do it the right way. And really the only thing that you could do is just try to get ahead of it, So we posted an announcement, basically told everybody what was going on, the situation, and the conversation with the actual artist himself. And the artist is in our Discord. He supports the project. He still does artwork for us here and there. So it was just a crappy situation to start it out. But we recovered from that. We continue to push forward. And I think just being transparent and being real about it, it's not something that we run away from. Yeah, it sucks. But at the end of the day, what can you do, And so time progressed on a little bit more, man. We kept building out and, the artwork really became a staple for our project, from a creative standpoint, simply because there's so many different options there. I think that a lot of times you're dealing with collections that really play into the derivative role, and you don't really have that much originality now. And with us, building a project, it has to have very, very strong visuals so you can create experiences around it, right? So I think that anything that you build out, it has to be relatable to people in general. So we have, I think, over 200 traits specifically, all the way from ETH insiders to golden apes to transparent souls, literally anything that you can think of at this point. So yeah, I mean, it was an unfortunate situation, but I think the process played out well, and it was a beautiful ending to where we got from it and continue to push forward.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and add to that what Fame is saying. That stolen art wasn't actually a complete a complete copy of anything like that, because I don't think they had the colors proper. I don't think they had all the traits, just because they didn't have the full files of it. So it's not that it was a completely stolen. They couldn't really get it. So even if you try to go ahead and match it to what they had acquired, it will not match up. The traits won't match up. The colors won't match up. But yes, it's super unique, Magnum. I'm with you on that one. It's super striking when you first look at it. It speaks to you. What it says, it's up to the individual. So yes, when you're looking at the collection and compare it to everything else that's out there, it is different. It's striking, and we latch onto it. And it's super important to us, and it's definitely important to our holders.
Yeah, definitely. And I certainly appreciate how you guys handled that. Transparency, something we're big on. If you've heard us, you've heard of the reverse countdowns that we do, and it's just like, you guys got out in front of it. You just attacked it. At that point, there was nothing you could do. You did nothing wrong, but you did what needed to be done. And it's not always easy, but I think you handled it proper.
Yeah, I'm just gonna also agree with the previous caller. When you guys would have, I was more active on some of those Twitter Spaces, or now they're X Spaces. You guys have been around so long; they used to be Twitter Spaces, but someone would always bring up the question, and you guys would happily, answer it. It's like, hey, let's just get this out there, and you guys got it out there seemingly every time, and it was nice to hear that up front.
Yeah, and it was rough, man. It literally felt like every time we got on Spaces, we were having to go through it. But at the same time, like, we come from communities too. We've dealt with other projects as well. And I feel like anytime there's something that people want an answer to, if they are willingly investing in what you're doing, it's only right that you try to get out in front of it and at least talk about it. We're in a space now to where things go left every day, and people will just kind of run away from it or be extremely vague about it. And that's just not the way that we want to operate. I think that it will get us a lot farther if people can actually, if we can get in front of people and speak to them about what's going on and just tell them the reality of the situation. Hopefully that gains people's trust long term, and it helps us build out the project entirely. I think that people respect that a lot more versus no, we don't want to talk about that in public, or we don't want to say anything about it. It's just not the right route to take.
Yeah, I mean, we actually like talking about it. It's been a while since this subject has come up because there's nothing to hide, and I think originally first day or second day and stuff. So when it comes to the communication with the artist, the paid receipts and all that stuff, I mean, it's all transparent. It's all there. So that's why we sort of welcome those conversations, because those conversations take place around your art. So it's not just talking about the controversy, but it's actually, concentrating on the art itself. But as the time moved on, getting the deployer wallet verified in OpenSea, getting the collection verified OpenSea. So all those things just came after that. And now it's the full circle. The collection's verified, the artist and the paid receipts and the controversy, everything's all settled. So, those things were important steps to take forward. So that's why that stuff doesn't come up anymore, but we don't shy away from anything like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, very cool. And, just kind of working within projects as well. I know it's tough to just answer these same questions over and over again. But yeah, you guys did a great job of handling that. Now, my other question when it comes to the artwork, I happen to notice, you mentioned that you're verified now on OpenSea. I happen to notice that the PFP on OpenSea is not just a still image. It actually animates now. And so does it for the Discord server, right? The PFP on the side. Is that in the cards here? I mean, we're not trying to pull any Omega out of you guys, but
he hit me on the head with it, and here's I want to play a little coy here, but I think anything that we do, we're always looking to the future, right? And I personally believe that the visual side of things is one of the strongest things that we can lean into. There's been a person that's within the community that's made a bunch of animated artwork and things like that. He hasn't been doing it for the community anymore for reasons that we've been talking to him. But if it's in the cards, it will play out. If it's not in the cards, it won't. But ideally, I love the fact of having animated artwork and just building on that idea, especially, I'm a big experience type of guy, and having those insiders rip apart and you can kind of see the insides, and it's a lot more visually striking. So it's definitely something that I would like to play with, but it's not set in stone right now.
Was that art done by the community member that you're using?
What, the animator?
Yeah, the one on
Yeah.
OpenSea. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's cool. Very cool. So now the other question is, because the artwork matches perfectly to the name of the project, was that intentional?
Yeah, it's one of those things that the first thing that you think about is what's inside, so kind of being able to play off of that and build around that entire idea of just what's inside of you, and having them come apart when you see Ethereum. So, for the ETH maxis or the basketball players, when you have something that's a basketball or a diamond, all of that, it really plays into it. So I think just the name and the artwork go hand in hand.
Popper's a big fanny pack maxi, right, Popper?
Oh, those purses.
Yee.
Oof. I brought it up one time in the Discord and I was shot down. Like a lot of people like those purses. I'm not.
They're called satchels.
Yeah, it's not a satchel. The satchels would be more down towards your hips. This is like I don't know.
Just my 2 cents on that, Popper. I know you never asked me my opinion. I just think some of the insiders, some of the traits and attributes look nicer on different styles of them versus others.
Sure.
So some of them, some of it pops. So, and it's,
Yeah, no. And listen, there's nothing wrong with it. It happens to not be my favorite, but it happens to like a lot of people like it. But Tudiel has been schooling me on like how cool these things are and like how like I don't know, it must be a European thing.
Are you guys tracking Popper's trying to invalidate the zombies if they have them?
Yeah,
that's not true. I have zombies.
Yeah, and you say they don't count as zombies.
No, I didn't.
No, I thought you did. Okay, we'll
so
fact check that.
What's your favorite out of the collection, Popper?
I like the zombies quite a bit. I did get a Shiesty. That one's probably my favorite. I got the black Shiesty with the Ethereum insider. So
wow.
Yeah, that one. That one.
It's funny. Cuzzo, do you want to tell them about this? I think we've had a conversation about these damn Shiesties before. It's funny, man. You know where I'm going with it, Cuzzo?
Yeah, I know exactly. And you know what? I'm going to let you talk about it. And there's a reason why there's only like 8 black and 9 white. But Fame, yeah, you better tell this story because I cannot believe how they blew up.
So it's funny, man. Going through the collection, and Shiesty Mask was my least favorite trait out of everything that was created. So I swear, my bright idea was, you know what? I'm just gonna make them super rare so they don't take over the collection and I don't hear about these things. I'm gonna leave them there in case people like them, but I just didn't. It wasn't visually there for me. So that's the reason that they're extremely rare. So it's funny now, seeing people latch onto them like, oh, this is my favorite, and people love them, and I can't stand that trait.
All right.
That's so funny.
That's funny. That's
well, the pineapple community has like half of them, so that's
I know,
great.
Right?
I can't believe how cheap they were before. At one point, before I don't know anyone really dove into them, because I passed on a couple super cheap back when I first got in Popper. So I feel like a maroon.
Yeah, they almost didn't make it, man. They really didn't. But it's cool now, seeing it coming to life and everybody kind of attaching to it. And that's really the thing here too, is that, you never know what other people are going to enjoy visually. So being able to have so many different traits in there, it's cool to see, and we really look forward to at least implementing those into different experiences and whatever trait it may be. And that's even why we went as deep with the merch shop, is just making sure that everything has some type of utility.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny to have these conversations around the art and the different rarities and attributes and accessories, because when you go through it, there's something special with each one of them. And that's why, like, the entire collection, you can go down the line, even to the last mint in the 8080 number. I mean, it will look like one of one. And we seem to be having these conversations with people. Like, some people will latch onto that accessory called bubbles. It's one of my favorites. Everybody loves the gold. Yes, everybody loves the gold apes and stuff. I mean, those are normal. But there's some out there that I feel like, they're like maybe 1% minted. You'll have like a 90, 85, but they're kind of hidden, and they're slowly starting to come out the forefront, as because a lot of people were holding a lot of supply earlier, and now that they're starting to release that, some of those things are starting to come out, and people starting to have a conversation. So it's like it's a renewed conversation around the art, which I personally love. Like I said, there's something for everyone in there, like Fame was talking about. The demons and the devils and the horns, wherever you want to go with this. But yeah, it's amazing, and it's a continuing conversation, and I hope people continue to enjoy that, and we will have more conversations on art, because it is subjective and everyone sees what they want to see out of it. So I think it's super cool. And it's one of those things about the NFTs, and I think why people fall in love with it, why they first buy it as much as they do buy it. What they see in the project, and when it comes to the founder and the teams, and what makes them stay in a project is an entirely different conversation. But what makes you attracted to the art at first place, wherever you find it, and makes that decision for you to actually go ahead and mint it or buy it in secondary, that's art. And we kind of love that. We love having those conversations.
Mags, do you have some favorites over there?
I love the acne. I think that's my favorite, is the acne. It's just, there's something so Simpsons about it. Also, too, and I think we might have talked about this last time, and I've talked to Pop a million times about it. The different rarities on the different sites, like OpenSea and Blur, and now OpenSea Pro has a little bit different rarities, but there's this one that's like he's like top 25, 26, and he's pretty basic. On OpenSea, he's like ranked 25, and it's just gorgeous. And you look on that on like Blur, and it's not even close to the top, because there's nothing like really super rare about any of it. It had like the Galaxy inside. I think that's my favorite inside too. And I don't know if I own any Galaxy inside, but that's my favorite inside. Is the Galaxy.
The rarities are so weird, man, and there's a difference between each three of those platforms, like you said. And initially we were thinking about releasing a overall tool to where we could create a standard, and we just spoke with the community about it, and ultimately decided, at the end of the day, it just makes more sense to allow people to latch onto what they enjoy, and not necessarily dive too deep into rarity or anything like that. But we've been really focused on using OpenSea as our standard, I guess. But for me, water has always been my number one. Water and transparent hoodies, those things are beautiful. Yep. I feel like I've added so much value by talking about them so much.
The planetary heads, right? In the beginning, nobody wanted those. And all of a sudden, in the last 2 or 3 weeks, people have just been picking them up, and then the floor price just shot through the roof. So, like I said earlier, there are just some traits that are starting to come as the new holders arrive. They find something and they start to pick up. So every week, every 2 weeks, we seem to have something that just goes through the roof. So it's really cool, actually.
People have been playing into the idea of doing like little groups too, like people that have Flame insiders or people that have ETH insiders, and doing little subgroups within the Discord. I think that's a really cool thing too.
I think it's going to be a natural progression anyway. As we grow, those people will bond together, and they probably want to do certain things. We're starting to steer them in that way anyway, by doing the merch shop that's trait based. So certain merchandise that could only be purchased by those holders. And so I think it's natural for those people to just bond together and get together and start doing those things. And I think we'll promote that in the future. If the entire collection of that rarity, that trait wants to do something special among themselves, or whether it's a real world experiences or not, I think we'll promote it. I think we'll support it. But I love the idea of that.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the color of the zombie attributes. That one, whether it's the shirt or just the zombie skin, those I find that those are really attractive to me. And I also am a huge fan of transparent like skeletons against like a dark background. Those, I have a couple of those that just it just pops so much. They're beautiful.
Yeah, and what's cool too is that, and like you were saying, the more plain ones, those are really visually striking. So when you look into like the dark black background or a lighter background with really subtle traits, I think those ones are really striking as well. So I'm right there with you, man. They look awesome.
Then the other one that comes to mind, the wizards, those capes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Man, I mean, those are still, I feel like, undervalued. Well, undervalued meaning like the people who hold them, they don't want to sell them. But when you do look at them individually, they're super cool, especially with that color purple. It's one of my favorites. I think it's one of the first one the Fame gifted to me, not knowing how they're really going to be a super exclusive group because I think we know the people that own them and they love them, and I personally love it. I can't wait to grab every time I see something that's priced reasonably. I try to get them because none of you guys want to sell any of the shiesties for a reasonable price. So I mean, 5 ETH guys, like really? I mean, come on.
Flexing. That's another one I faded early on too, was the wizard, like an idiot. I mean, I should have there's a few of them. They looked at that and I was like, I think the rarity was playing with me. I'm like, I don't know if that's worth it, but it looks so good. And it's like, I'll be a fool. And then it's like, I think I've regretted all the ones I haven't bought. So it's,
I'll tell you what, man, I couldn't tell you how many of these things we've given away that were really, really high ranking. And looking back on it, hindsight is always 2020, right? And it's just like, man, I know we've given away like rank 50 and above, rank 10 and above. And because when we first minted, we did 100 for the marketing wallet, and we ran through all of those really fast. So we've been sweeping and grabbing more, and we've kind of slowed down here recently, but yeah, man, looking back on it, I've given away so many wizards, I've given away so many planetaries, and just everything you can think of. It's been given away one way or another.
So I'm just gonna have to disagree with you guys about the wizards. I think they're terrible. I think that they're way overpriced.
Flora popper. Just
floor
get them on the floor.
Floor them. Financial advice.
Probably won't even sell either. They'll be
no.
For a while.
Good luck getting it to move.
The laser eyes as well. They're trash.
Laser eyes, garbage. Forget it.
Yeah, I don't think the shiesties really fit in the collection the way that
shiesties, Tudiel, your shiesties are awful.
Yeah,
Tudiel's went crazy, man. He has such a awesome bag. I looked through his wallet the other day, and he has some real grails in there, man.
He is one of a kind. Well, Chief is right up there too. These guys go not just for quantity, but they're going like quality quantity. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, all of them. And you know what? I don't think that we've really had a moment to kind of reflect back on our path to this point yet, and more than anything, I do want to tell you guys thank you just for the support that you guys have brought. It's really rare and in between, especially in this space where, people will have a platform like this and they're willing to not only allow us to come up and speak, but just be there and be supportive. You guys have been here for a while, and you brought a great community of people in, and it really means the world to us, man. None of this would be possible without having that type of support and foundation. So especially cross-chain, right? I know a lot of people aren't necessarily ETH maxis like we may be, or anything like that. And kind of looking into your guys' world, it's like an alien language, just like I'm sure it is on the other way around. But just seeing, the amount of people that you guys have brought in, and the amount of love and support that they've shown, man, it's greatly appreciated.
Thanks for that. That's so nice. Yeah, it's a tight community, and it's instead of being divisive and fighting over chains, we just enjoy the art. So we got a good group of people, and everyone's welcome.
Yeah, and it's cool too because I always speak about tribalism, right? And about how this space has always been really clicky, and seeing people from other chains come in and support projects or just be there and be willing to have conversation. And it's not necessarily about, oh, you have a pineapple PFP, we can't get along. It shouldn't be that way.
Right.
If we really want this space to go in the direction that we say we want it to, we have to work together, regardless of anything else. And I think that's extremely important. And you guys have shown that.
Well, yeah, that's super appreciated. And honestly, it wouldn't have happened like that had you guys not shown the qualities that we were looking for, right? It's like, we've been out here banging the drums about, projects and the way some projects do things the right way, some things that we don't agree upon that projects are doing. And dude, like that first conversation that I had with you, you're just like preaching exactly what I've been preaching. I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna have to check this out. Like I gotta see what's going on here. And then I checked it out and I'm like, wow, this is, this artwork is quite different. And then it was just, I told my one group, I was like, yeah, I'm an insider now. And the next thing I know, like a couple days later, it's just like, they're all flooding.
You told me
They all
first,
flooded in.
You gave me like a 5-minute head start on the group.
There you go. You're welcome.
I heard this, and it's funny, man. I was on the interstate, and Popper had shot me over the link to that Pinecast, and I think it was a little over an hour long, and I think this was before one of our first initial conversations, Popper, and I'm sitting there listening to it, and I'm waiting to hear insiders. I'm waiting on it, and you guys are just going back and forth with the banter. I'm loving it, and you guys start talking about it, man, and it just warmed my heart, because you gave a full rundown of essentially, the steps leading up to what happened and how you came across the project and things like that. And, ever since then, man, I feel like we've been really tight here and, just seeing the way that we've been perceived. And it goes back to saying that, we're real people at the end of the day. Sure, we have a project and things like that, but it's the relationships that matter. You never know who's on the other side of that screen. You don't know who you're dealing with, and being able to make those relationships, it can be long lasting, lifelong relationships. I know even with me and Cuzzo, we met through insiders, believe it or not. And just growing with him and speaking with him on a day-to-day basis. And I've learned so much, and just being able to find these types of people within this space, especially with the current temperature of the market right now, everybody needs a community. Everybody needs someone to talk to sometimes. And I pride myself on being able to say that, I feel like we've created a community of people that all have the same goals. We all want to look out for each other and make sure everybody's on the same page and, not losing money in this space, which is an impossible task, but, it's all about those relationships with good people, man.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And, that's what we've experienced in the small little pond of Theta world here. Both me and Mags have kind of been assimilated into a couple of different projects and have certainly made lifelong friends within the community. And it's not what I expected when I signed up for this, but it's better than what I was expecting.
And we will be right back.
This week's episode is brought to you by Dr. Theta's Community Guardian Node. Theta's premier community guardian node where you can stake your Theta if you don't run your own guardian node. Best of all, 100% uptime so you do not miss any rewards and 0 fees so you earn 100% of your T-Fuel. Trusted by Theta Labs, you can easily stake directly within your wallet. Simply go to the staking tab, choose Delegated Guardian Node, and find Dr. Theta's Guardian Node. Quick, simple, reliable, and best of all, safe, as the coins never leave your wallet. Stake with the Doc today. This week's episode is brought to you by GuardiansOfTheta.com, offering 0% one-click Theta Guardian staking with random monthly token giveaways. Guardians also airdropped everyone staking with him an NFT that you're able to stake and earn T-Vibe. 100% uptime, 0 fees, random giveaways, what's not to love? Stop paying 4% and come join the fam with Guardians of Theta.
Papa Max, yeah. Papa Max. Papa Max Podcast. Papa Max Podcast.
Yeah, this is what I like. I think I come from more on the coin side of the world, and in the last 6, 7 months, I started to expose myself more into NFTs and the culture of NFTs and the people that actually fall in love with art, and then the community and everything else that's involved with it. But it's a special world to me. I see it from a different point of view, I guess, than people that have been in this space for a long time. But yes, I came in as a holder. I bought it in the secondary. I was not part of the free mint or anything. When I saw them, and then I had a conversation with Fame, and I'm like, yeah, okay, this is something I want to be involved with. What can I do? And then we started to talk about vision, what it's going to take to get to the next level and beyond. The amount of work, the type of team, type of holders, and the support group, and this whole thing about the conversation around inclusion, supporting one another. It doesn't have to be this tribalism that the Fames talk about. As protective, I can get some time of my own holdings or the project that I'm working for, the holders that I spend all day with. But at the same time, if the conversations that revolve around support, supporting one another and their holdings and what they love, and I'm all for it. But it's a special feeling being part of Insider. I will tell you that, because it's not just about the money that you spend, the investment that you make to be in there, but the value that you drive from it, the connections that you start to make, the people that you never met before, share the values, what they're going about, what their lives are about, the things that they're involved with, the growth that takes place in some of these places is phenomenal. I think that value could supersede any type of investment you make. And I won't speak about the floor prices of any collection, whether it's $5 or $5,000. End of the day, it's all depends on what you could afford. But when you get involved, when in the trenches, when you're talking to people and you've been on these spaces, and then you start to have these conversations with the same individuals and find out their values, their challenges, those type of conversations and what they add to you as an individual, to me, that is real wealth. And that's been my motto. But as far as me and Fame working together on a daily basis, and this is pretty much, he sleeps, eat, wake up, everything he does, it's Insiders. It's one of the reasons why I basically gave him a blank check on that one. Okay, whatever you need, I will be here for that. I will go on this journey with you. It doesn't matter what it takes. It's not about the floor price. Our focus is always going to be people, what they see in us, what they see in Insider, what they find in the community. And then we're going to try to bring that message at large and see how far we could go. And, the developments are there. Those things are going to continue to roll out. But we see Insider as more of a connection to like-minded people, as often Fame says, find your people, and derive value from that, and then try to do right by those people, right? That's one of my job in Insider, is that people are spending real money buying into secondary, but giving them something in return, whatever that is in the short term and long term, whatever that is in a personal level or in monetary. But we have to work towards that. We have to make this collection, this community, be proud to own it, be proud to be inside of it, talk to one another, whatever we could do for each other. That, I think, that is the basic goal of Insider. People always ask that, exactly what you guys are trying to accomplish. And I can't really always give them a short answer, but this is what I say, is that, we're trying to bring this message. If you wanted to talk about all that's wrong in this space, whether you want to talk about what teams should do, whether you want to talk about what the communities should be, what the role of the founders of the team should be, how they should be working for the holders and not the other way around. All those things that we often wish for when we buy into collection, that it never comes to fruition when nobody listens to you. People don't show up. They're there for 1 or 2 months, and then they collect their royalties and they got their mint, and then nowhere to be found when the tough time hits. People just act differently. So we were going to do everything opposite of what those people have done in the past and try to earn people's trust. So end of the day, that's basically what our mission statement is, Fame. I hope you agree.
Yeah, 100%, man. And, for me, it's always come from a place of, I've been in this space for a while. I've purchased a lot of different projects. I've listened to a lot of different founders and how they speak and how they treat the community. And, I've always wanted to strip it down to the basics of just, man, these are real people, and we had a team meeting about this the other day of just, you're going to go through phases and cycles with any project that you have. There's going to be super hype times. There's going to be super low times, but as long as the team remains consistent, and, you have to remember that people have put money into you. They've put their belief into you, and if people are willing to do that, it's only right for the team to continue to show up, continue to put the work in, and actually try to provide value. I know I say it all the time, but I don't ever want to get into a process of just dropping an announcement just to drop an announcement. I want to make sure that the things that we're doing can last long term. And even if we go through a tough time, I still want to show up. I still want to work. I still want to put the effort in, because I know, a year from now, it's going to be a beautiful thing to look back on. It will never happen overnight, but as long as we continue to grind it out, and people continue to support us, and we do the right things, and continue to be here on a day-to-day basis, I think everything will play out, especially with Raider coming up. This platform is going to be really cool. It's going to allow a lot of engagement, and then we have the token side of things as well. But we're really just trying to do it the right way. The market's really ugly right now, but just don't make any excuses, and just get the work done,
Totally. Yeah, I'm not big on excuses. I hate people who make excuses. I hate people who use excuses for whatever it is. I usually say that, if it's important to you, you'll find a way. And if it's not important to you, you'll find an excuse not to do it. But so we're not about making excuses. But at the same time, the floor prices or sentiment or emotional, what people go through in crypto, it's irrelevant to a certain extent. We're concentrated on constantly just finding a way to roll out things that people will enjoy, to latch onto it. And Fame just talked about the Raider platform and how we can monetize it, how we can reward people, and seeing what's going to happen with OpenSea and for them to cut down the royalties and stuff. It's going to be a challenging time for a lot of projects, but this is why we have to stay ahead of the game. And our coin is going to solve a lot of those issues going forward, and how it's going to tie into the rewards for people, whether it's a soft staking or just being an engagement level increasing of that, and on social media, and how we could reward people for interacting with the IP, interacting with our tweets and fellow holders and things like that. So you have to make it fun, you have to make it rewarding, but at the same time, you have to be sustainable, something that you could afford to do. And if you're going to talk about a long-term project, if you're going to talk about continued development, and you're going to talk about hiring developers and paying them, rewarding people in real money and merchandise and everything else and all experiences, everybody talks about it. What people normally don't talk about it is that, how you can afford it, how you can afford it long term. So those are some of the conversations that we have. Those are certain situations that we arrive and start to develop a blueprint. Hey, where we're going with 3 months, what's going to look like 6 months, 9 months, a year from now. And this is one of the reasons why we say it's a blue chip or die. We actually mean it. And people sometimes laugh, but we mean it, and we do have a plan to get there. So, but it's going to take time, but it is our mission. And we do it in a way that's sustainable. I've used that word before. It's only because Fame just said that, not just to make an announcement for the sake of making an announcement. At the same time, you have to be careful what you expose, what things that you promise out in public, the timelines that you give people. Hey, when are they going to have this, and when are they going to have that? Because it's just detrimental. It just added pressure for the team. But rest assured, these are some of the things that we're going to continue to do, and we're going to continue to bring in new holders. And if you look at it, our holder count is continued to rise. And in some ways, with the floor price being down a little bit, it's actually allowing a lot of those people who aren't able to afford it, and said, okay, well, it's not a free mint, but it's definitely affordable. I can get a great piece of art, and I can get into this community. I can learn. I can get value out of it. And I know the team is here. They're developing. We continue to see them on a daily basis. So I know I'm buying into something special, and hopefully it turns out to be something really, really cool down the road. And that is our hope, and that's our intent, and that's our plan.
Yeah, I completely agree with you guys. Obviously it's nice to buy something and have the floor price double. But if you're not planning on selling it and you're planning on being there long term, then what does that really matter? Right? What does the floor price matter right now, pre-development, pre-Raider, pre-token? We're in such the early stages. The one thing that I've really found about jumping into some ETH projects here, it seems like a lot of people are just so short-term focused. It's like, they're always chasing the next thing. It's like, it's definitely not a mindset that I share. I'm more of the find something you like, grab it and put it in the nest, and then just kind of sit on it and wait.
It has to be that way. And you're right. It seems like on this side of things, it's really, and I feel like I say this all the time, but it's unrealistic expectations, right? And, when you're building a business, it's not going to happen overnight. You have to, if you're going to jump into Web3, I think you have to commit long term because the blockchain doesn't go anywhere, right? And from day one, I've always felt like, if I'm gonna put my heart and soul into this thing and lose sleep and not be able to spend as much time with my family, this has to be something that I work on long term, and everybody has kind of bought into that dream. But it's just sometimes it's unfortunate, but at the same time, I think that a lot of people don't realize the type of market that we're in as well. It's just that everything's ugly right now. It's bleeding out. And for me, it's just seeing the people that are here building. That says a lot about not only character, but about work ethic, because as it stands right now, the money's not in it, right? It just takes time to get where you want to go. And I think that just being able to be here and put something together, it has to be a long-term hold. You can't just go buy a PFP and expect it to double or triple in value within a couple days. And if it does, that's awesome, but there's still projects out there, especially with us, that we want to do this for a long time. And we want to make sure that we're able to put this on a mainstream level, and that's going to be a while before we get there. And it just takes hard work and dedication, and having those people that are core supporters is what gets us there.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing that Cuzzo mentioned was giving timeframes to community members. And I mean, you start giving timeframes and you have a high probability of ending up headlining the opening Pop and Mag segment here with our reverse countdowns.
How many do you have at this point?
We had a couple come off recently.
Damn right, we did.
They were fulfilled.
one was me. Thank God.
We have a project that we've been on. It's a Theta project called Rewarded TV, and basically you can log on to Rewarded. You can create a profile. You can watch shows on there, and as you watch, you earn RPlay tokens. You just basically watch to earn, and they've been adding a ton of content. It's a pretty cool. But we were in it when it first started. And they made some promises about when the token was going to be ready, when the DEX was going to be ready, when staking was going to happen. So they're way behind at this point.
It's tough, man.
Yeah, no, it's tough, man. I agree. There's another project that promised their token back in January, and it's just listen, like we started this thing with a reverse countdown on Theta Drop, which is like one of the main NFT platforms for Theta NFTs, and they basically wouldn't let you take your NFTs off the site, right? They were locked on there. There was no way to withdraw.
Custodial, yeah.
Completely. Because custodial, but like locked. Like, you can't even do anything with them off the site. Now you can withdraw them, but there was a AMA, and one of the Theta Labs guys said that in a few weeks you'll be able to take your NFTs off a Theta Drop. So we counted how many a few weeks was, and it ended up being what, like
we were over 300 days. No,
yeah,
it was under a year. But
it was under a year.
It was under a year, but it was over 300 days, I believe.
Yeah.
Man, this timeline issue, I see this all the time, especially on the coin side of things. And I think a lot of teams come under pressure when the tough times start to hit, when their charts are down, flow price is down, and they feel like they have to tell their holders something, and maybe that will do the trick, and for them to actually have a belief and continue to hold or buy more or something like that. And then they start dropping these timelines, and they're unrealistic because in a development, there's a testing phase and there's a trial phase. All those things happen, and it ends up turning into be a negative for your project. But going back to this whole thing about the psychology of the investors and what they're dealing in a bear market, because I feel like it's also a job of the team to convert some people and show them a value, because people don't know. So it's a tightrope to walk. People don't know exactly what you're doing, so you do have to give them something. But the timelines are definitely an issue. But at the same time, like I said, I mean, teams have to be doing a better job of kind of conveying the message that, hey, we're going to be here. We're not going anywhere. We do understand that you're here to make money. You're going to buy multiple collections. You're going to trade. You're going to, do what it is. But as far as educating, trying to teach them that, hey, don't over leverage yourself. You don't have to buy with every single dollar and try to do multiple X's and things like that. And then as soon as you get a couple of those, and then you move on to something else and on, and you're probably going to miss out on some of the biggest value projects in your life if you continue to do that. But at the same time, we do have to put ourselves in their shoes. We've been in projects where we don't know what's going on. You buy it and you don't know how it's going to last. We don't know if the team's going to be here or not. And you feel like, okay, if you didn't sell now, you're probably never going to be able to sell anything. You're going to get stuck with the dust. So I do understand the sentiment of it. So we try to do a better job just trying to educate them and say, hey, if you bought too many, no problem. You could just scale back. Because at the end of the day, our goal is to find one holder for each of those NFTs, however long that takes. And it's going to be a lot of work, but it's part education that, there's an art aspect to it. There's a community aspect to it. What you see in your NFT in that community, what kind of value does that have for you? It could be monetary, and it is our intent to keep increasing that value. But however, when it comes to trading and the sentiment of the market and stuff, you do have to put things in perspective. But we as a team have to do a better job and said, okay, one is enough. It's okay if you only have one. That's all you need to get into the community. That's all you need to get special access to the founders or whatever you need. We're here for you. So, but I mean, the bear market, the challenging times, and the holders are dealing with it as well. They're seeing the value of their holdings go down, and so the people are nervous, and when they get into something, they try to maximize that opportunity. But the retention has to be the responsibility of the team, and how you convey the message, how even keel you are in the good times and the bad times, and you continue to develop. You don't really get emotional. You don't get too stressed out. You don't get too excited for everything. You just do everything that you're doing from day one, regardless of what your floor price is, regardless of if your holders are stressed or not. Because what good is it going to do if somebody is stressed out and then they are asking you some difficult questions and things like that? But that's probably the opportunity to let them know, hey, this is what's coming. We're not going anywhere. We could use your help as well. You do have a responsibility. So we're in this together. And I feel like teams miss that opportunity. We try to capture on that. So yeah, that's definitely an intent, but it is tough times out there. It's easy for me to, start to lay a blame on people and how their trading habits are. But those people have also been rugged so many times. They've been done wrong. People don't live up to their words. People say things, but they never deliver. And that's why the timelines are not good. You tell them, this is my intent. If you guys pay attention, this is exactly what I always say. This is my intent. This is what we want to do. And when it comes to coin, the reason I never gave a timeline of when we're going to introduce it's because when me and Fame, we have these conversations about the coin. It's a currency. It's going to do great things for insiders only if it's executed properly. It has to go in line with what we want to do with Raider. Because Raider is a rewarding platform. So if you launch token too early, then you're going to have these conversations with people that, okay, I got this token, I got this chart, but then when is that coming? When, what does it do? What does the token do? What its utility? But if I don't tie into the utility with the token, then it's meaningful. Then it just looks like something else. And then when that chart starts to bleed out, it's going to have an effect on your collection as well. Because these dynamics, as much as we like to think they are separate, but they're not, because people drive sentiment from one to the other. This is a pattern we see all the time. Like if your token price is down, it's going to impact your NFT floor price and vice versa. So having a proper utility and a development to go along with it is super, super important. And this is why we started to have a conversation to prepare people that it's coming, that you're going to have NFT in order to buy its pre-sale. It's not going to be open to anyone outside. So we have the conversation. And this is why we're told. Otherwise, I would not even mention the coin. But we need to prepare people that, hey, this is what it's going to take for you to get into it, number one. Number two, we're not launching a coin just to launch it, something. And it has a purpose, where we're going with this, how it's going to tie into in future what you're going to be able to do with your NFT or your coin. It's going to bounce off each other, how it's going to reward. And at the end of the day, it has to be sustainable. It cannot have added pressure on the treasury. The things that we want to do for Insider, we have to be able to afford it. So we cannot just have a conversations about, hey, a wish list, but have no way of paying for it. So it's a process. But at the same time, we're super careful. We pay attention to what's happening in the market. We dissect, we look at the projects that do have coin and NFT and how they're dealing with it. What are the problems? What are the positives and things like that? So we're going to do our best to make sure that the launch is good, that utility around the coin is there. We did have, I think we already spoke about that it's going to have soft staking. We're not in favor of locking up anybody's assets. We don't want to lock up your NFTs. If you want to sell, you could sell. It's not like you wouldn't have to deposit into a contract, pay gas fees and all that stuff. But at the same time, it shouldn't be set it and forget it type of deal either, where people just, load up and then they never interact with anything. They never support anything, and then just constantly be a burden on your liquidity pools for the coin. Because then again, that's money too. That's definitely impacts your bottom line. So the reason I went in length in explaining this is that there's a purpose to everything, and you should take your time. And if somebody is not patient enough to wait for those things, and that's okay. I have no problem people coming back and giving us a second look and buying then at that point and when that development is ready. But it has to be purposeful. It has to solve some problems, and it has to add a value to what you're already trying to do. But more importantly, it has to fit your overall vision to where you're going in the future. So I wanted to at least explain that, why the timelines are a problem, but how the coin is coming and when it's going to come, but what things have to be ready around it for us to actually introduce that.
Yeah, no, I think you're doing it the right way. Saying that something's coming or being worked on is proper, right? And saying that, oh, you're going to have it by the end of September, now you're on the clock. So yeah, I see no problem with that. And honestly, I'm loving everything that you're saying about it, because I completely agree. We've seen projects just create coins for no reason. You get that immediate hype, like, oh, there's a token, and then the token's useless. And so what was the point in the first place? So yeah, to make this thing sustainable, everything that you said has to be done. So I completely agree with that. Now, just before we wrap this up, I know we mentioned this. You guys brought it up already a little bit, both of you, the website that you guys have for your merch. I think that is so cool. As you guys said, it's a token gated merch site, right? So you literally link up your MetaMask, and if you want a T-shirt with a Gold Ape Insider, then your MetaMask needs to find a Gold Ape Insider in your wallet, right?
Yeah, that's the way it works, man. And, it's really just our take on doing something a little bit different. A lot of times I just see, just a logo slapped on it and they call it good, right? And I think for us, being able to add that extra layer of engagement, people have to own specific assets to actually have a physical item. I think that's just a really cool play on it. I think we're up to, 112 different designs and products on the merch shop right now. But yeah, you have to actually own a specific trait to be able to purchase individual shirts. There are some that are non-holders and things like that, or just generalized merchandise as well. But the thick of things is really, you have to own a specific asset to use it.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I also wanted to just make sure that we mentioned, you guys are doing poker nights. I don't think it's every week, but I would say at least 2 or 3 Sundays a month, and giving away NFTs. You guys are doing battle royales on Discord and giving away NFTs to the winner. I know you got
for a UFC, what you're saying. Tough crowd. Yee. I guess you have to be there.
But yeah, man, Magnum Popper. I mean, we try to offer like a host of activities, and whether it's a poker tournament like you mentioned, but we're also getting ready for a fantasy league as well. Let's see how many people want to play. Like the giveaways. Yeah, Fame is notorious for just giving it away. But yeah, we definitely try to give out as much as we can. We've scaled back a little bit. But recently, I think from Yuga Labs, that NFT, the giveaways for every NFT you purchase in the last 2-3 weeks, that was costly. We've done that, but yeah, I mean, there's some activity in some of the channels where, whether it's the mental health or physical health, and if you're looking for advice or somebody with a similar situation or issues, you could definitely draw value from there. Join in. We do have our alpha NFT channel now that's really popping, and of course we do have alpha coin channel. I think the plays that are coming in there from myself and some of the others are super good. Anybody who is insider holder, if you're listening to it, and if you have any interest in trading in shit coins or any kind of coins, definitely you want to check that out, because people are doing super well. So I mean, end of the day, insider might only cost you a little bit of money, but the value I think you're going to get is many folds, provided you're active. But if you're not there, you're going to miss out on those things. And those are things that we want to do. But as far as the activities, there are like probably 15, 20 things.
I think you rug. Man, I do want to follow it up, though. We do have a poker tournament coming up this Sunday. It's at 6 p.m. Eastern. It is open up to the complete public. We're going to do NFT giveaways, ETH giveaways, and things like that. But we've also set up a system throughout the Discord to where people can participate in different activities every single day. And then we're going to do a big giveaway at the end of the month. That way we're not doing so many crazy different giveaways or anything like that. But, there will be something there for everybody to do at least once a day and just get the community engaged. I think that's one of the pillars of what we want to do here, is just make sure that we're having people be able to participate in things and meet one another. And I think a project is only as strong as its community. So it's only right that we have those type of offerings.
Yeah. And, the same goes for you guys as project leads. As a community member, you like to see a team that is involved and a team that is hanging around and always there. And that is you guys. I mean, you're in the Discord every day. You're on Spaces 100 times a week. And you're never hiding. You've never disappeared. And if you've disappeared for the majority of the day, at the end of the day, you pop on and be like, yo, I'm sorry. I've been working. And, it is nice to have that kind of presence from the team as well. So that doesn't go unnoticed either.
Thank you. And it's a lot too, because I think that, we spoke on this earlier too, is just that, if people are willing to believe in what we're doing, I think it's only right that we show up. Right. And so I don't want us to be that shadowy figure that just randomly drops an announcement. You don't ever see them in the chat. I at the beginning of starting Insiders, for me, it was just about finding my people, and I'm proud to say that I've been able to do that so far. We've been able to do that, and being able to get in these chats and on Spaces and just interact with the community. I think that's something different that we're offering, and I personally enjoy it. My son's literally asleep right behind me right now, and so it's a cool thing for us to do, and I really enjoy it, and especially playing games and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's trying to bring that value and bring back the good vibes. We're always stressed out at this point with what's going on in the market and things like that. It's nice to be able to kind of take a step back from it a little bit and enjoy the community and the relationships that we're able to build. So I love it.
100% agree. Hey, listen, don't want to take your whole night up. We certainly appreciate you guys joining us for this. Happy that we happened upon the Insiders and feel right at home in there for sure. Mag, you got any parting words here?
I did, and it just left my head. My brain sucks, man. I just had just a little thing and it's gone. But anytime you guys want to come on, and also Popper, I think Popper should maybe run a commercial this week for the Insiders.
Yeah, no, that'll happen.
I love that, man.
Cool. I think I got rugged or something and my connection happened. So sorry about that.
Yeah.
Guys. But yeah. Anyways, guys, it was fun. Yeah, nice talking to you guys. Thanks for all the support. We can't thank you enough, obviously. But yeah, we love being here, and definitely like to come back. But anything that you guys do for Insiders, man, certainly appreciate that from bottom of our hearts for sure.
Definitely, anytime.
Yeah, absolutely. We're in this thing together for sure. So we appreciate what you guys are doing, and we are happy to be a part of it.
Appreciate
and absolutely,
it, man.
if you guys have something you want to pop back on and share with us, just you know how to get a hold of us. So feel free anytime.
Will do. You all have a wonderful evening. I hope you all have a good one. Again, thank you all for being here. And to the listeners, if you don't have an insider, go grab one. We would love to have you in the community, love to meet you all and just build out a relationship. We're in a place now to where I feel like it's all about building relationships with good people. So if you're a good person and you're looking for a new home, come find us, man. We'll welcome you with open arms. Appreciate you guys for having us.
All right. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. I hope you guys have a great night, and we'll definitely be seeing you on the boards.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Later.
You have been listening to the Pops and Mags Pinecast. Music provided by Sushi Cat. Like what you hear? Send that cat a very nicely worded compliment on Twitter @JustAddSpam. Pops and Mags is a Scumbag Hat production in association with Kyle's Hot Tub.